So I'm back home after the weekend's adventure driving up north, and the big challenge today is getting my other purchase out of the car. So I bought components for my big truck to get it on the road, but I also bought this thing, which is a PTO driven cement mixer. Now, the gentleman I bought it from and I loaded it in here with a forklift, which was relatively easy, and at the time my only concern was, how do I get the thing into the car so I can get it home? And since we measured up correctly before I bought it, I knew it would fit in, but the problem is it's pretty heavy and I'm not sure how I'm going to get it out without doing any damage to the bottom of the car. But we'll have a try at that, see what happens. Well, that was easier than I thought it would be. Very good. Doesn't seem to have done any damage. And the back of this car's a bit knocked around already because it's 14 odd years old, but that worked out better than expected. The next question, how do I get it from here over to the shed? If I had the skid steer running, I could just pick it up with the forks on the skid steer. I think that might be a project for this afternoon, see if I can get the skid steer back in action. For now though, thinking what I might do is just pull the top off this, the top frame unbolts, comes off, and I could actually assemble it onto the tractor and then just use the tractor to carry it away on the 3-point linkage. So we'll give it a try. Alright, let's get him open. Okay, that's very orange, and it's quite large too, which is kind of what I'd been hoping for. I didn't have exact dimensions on the thing when I bought it. It was a bit of a rush buy, but well, we have a hydraulic hose, so right, so that's the heavy part. What we've got is half of the bowl, the other half over there to be bolted on, and all of the 3-point linkage components attached to it. So I'm going to have to get this out. I can get that on the tractor, and then I can attach all the other bits and pieces. There's the hydraulic ram. We've got the PTO shaft. Looks like everything's there, which is good. Have to figure out how a single acting ram is going to work with the hydraulics on the tractor. That's unclear to me at this point. lovely day today. Autumn can really be the best time of year. Okay. I haven't tried anything on the remote hydraulics on this tractor yet, so I have no idea if they even work. But we'll give it a go, see what happens. I might pull that apart later, see if I can figure out how to seal it. In the meantime, let's get the rest of the barrel on and see if we can get the paddles in as well. I'm a little bit disappointed in how light the steel used in this is, but given how cheap the thing is, I guess I shouldn't be surprised. I'm a little bit concerned too that there's no gasket for this. No gasket in the instructions. I don't know if it's going to leak, but it might require some silicone in there one day. Anyway, we can give it a go, see what happens, and then make a decision. So this connection, we've got an M8 bolt, and then on the back we've got a nut and a spring washer. I didn't realise there were spring washers in the kit until I just started pulling it all apart, but it makes sense that you'd be using spring washers on the back of these guys, as there's going to be a lot of vibration in this, so it's quite likely to try and work itself apart. spring washers are too small, so they get pulled into the gap that the bolt goes through. Cheap. This is what you get for buying cheap. What I should probably do is buy another batch of washers. Alright, I'm going to do these up enough that they're not going to fall off. Back to the start. That'll do for now. That gets us assembled. Still not sure about this seal. I think when I pull this apart to put the proper washers in, I might run a bead of silicone around through the whole joint at the same time. It'll just make me happier that it's not going to leak. Not that it really matters if it did, but it'd be better. So the paddles are the next question. How do they go? So the paddles go on those 3 loose bolts at the back, and then they line up with the barrel there, and there's meant to be a hole here, but obviously I got it 1 bolt or 2 bolts off, and I'll have to take the front of the drum off, rotate it that way by 2 holes probably, that far, so that this one lines up. So I might just bolt these into the back of the drum for the time being. Okay. 1. Still got a bit of air in that ram. Not sure how you're meant to get that out. Guess there's a method of purging it, but right at the moment I don't think I can be bothered figuring it out. Let's see if the PTO shaft will fit. Probably have to take the drawbar off. Alright, I'm going to have to cut this down, shorten it so that it fits. Haven't done that before for the PTO shaft, so that'll be interesting. That end goes on there. And it gets pinned. I don't know where the pin is. Not much point having spring washers that are smaller than the hole they're sitting over. Have to investigate more washers for this. for both sides. Come on, go on. There we are. That's good. Nice click. Well, let's have a look at the booklet and see what that tells me. These pins need to come up so that when it's lowered off, it sits at the right angle. Probably should have realised that earlier. Can't hear, hang on. No, cooled down. So this is the absolute shortest the shaft has to be. So if you're using the cement mixer, you really need it to be up at maximum lift height that the 3-point linkage can achieve. Because when you tip it, if you want it to go into a wheelbarrow or something like that, it has to be up at the maximum height that the tractor can lift it to. A wheelbarrow is probably going to be here, and there's a chance that if it's any lower, then you're not going to be able to get the material. If it's any lower, you're not going to get the concrete into your wheelbarrow. It wouldn't be such a problem if you were just dumping into a hole, like a footing or a pier hole or something. But in terms of versatility, I want to be sure that I can use it with a wheelbarrow or whatever I need to. So the conclusion is that I'm going to have to shorten the shaft right down so that it works in this position. I guess what it means is when I put the mixer on the tractor, the PTO shaft can't be connected initially. I'll actually have to pick the mixer up to get the shaft to connect, and I just can't lower it right down while it's the PTO shaft's on. So I'll mark this again, and I'll have to cut it as short as this, because this is a position that it's going to have to operate in. Basically, it's got to be able to operate in this position. Well, there we go. It's running. I probably want to operate this at that sort of height. Basically got the PTO shaft right. I don't know how far down I can come. Probably not much more than there. So realistically, I think my rule is going to be that if I'm operating this, I don't have the cement mixer with the PTO shaft lower than about horizontal. I think I'm going to call that a win. I still need to fix up the leak in that joint there, and I've got to get new washers for all of the nuts on the rim. So there's a couple more little jobs to do, but basically set up, pretty much ready to go, and I'm fairly happy with that. I think it's going to work nicely. I'm thinking I might move the ram up to the top link if I can. Should be able to. Because I'd like to be able to tilt it back further. Currently, that's the maximum angle I can get on it. So I can only fill it to about here, which not ideal. I think it can, that'll limit the amount that I can do with it. So I should probably see if I can pull the ram up one more hole. Although I think that's going to interfere on there, so I may not be able to do that. Anyway, we'll keep playing around with it. It'll probably be good to actually run it with some bag concrete in it and see what it does. We'll do that another day. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you next time.